Hey, what's going on, my friends? It's Dave Sharpe. Welcome to Wake Up Legendary. And yes, you guessed it. You guessed right. We have another amazing guest this morning. And you know what? I just said hi to her briefly in the virtual green room back behind the virtual stage. And she's a wonderful person. She's had some success early on, and I can't wait to hear about how she's done it. Kayla, welcome to the show.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm fantastic. So where are you calling in from?
So I live in Buffalo, New York. I was just telling Joanne, because she asked about the snow.
Mhm.
Yeah, we do have snow. We do have ice.
Okay.
I like to say 10 months out of the year, but my partner says that's inaccurate. It's more like 8 to 9.
Well, my mother's is from my mother, not my mother's family. That's where I was going with that. Is from Jamestown, New York,
Oh,
and
no way.
yeah. So I used to go up to Buffalo quite often and watch the Buffalo Bills training camp up in Fredonia.
Yeah.
So when I was a little boy. So anyways, there you go. There you have it. I'm somewhat familiar with that, but still have very thin blood and get cold whenever the AC goes down below 70 degrees. So I
I
can't
do
really.
too. I'm actually from Tennessee. I moved up here for nursing school. So I always say that my blood has not adjusted here yet.
So now we've got a little bit more context about your work history. So you moved from Tennessee up to Buffalo to go to nursing school, and then tell us what brought you to Legendary, what ultimately put those pieces together in the nutshell version so we can understand what brought you here.
Sure. So I actually grew up in Memphis. My mom got remarried to a guy in the Air Force. So I went to high school in England, like the UK. And then when I turned 18, I was like, I kind of want to go somewhere new. Now I've traveled all over Europe. I was like, I don't know, but I didn't want to be too far from my family. And I had actually never seen snow. So I moved to Buffalo after looking up nursing programs. They have some of the best nursing programs in the country. So I moved here, went to nursing school, got pregnant in nursing school with my daughter, my first child. And I ended up having to withdraw because it was a complicated pregnancy. And then I almost died when I had her. I labored for 26 hours and then I had uterine atony. So I was bleeding out. I ended up in the ICU and she ended up in the NICU. And then we were in there for something like 10 days. It was really scary. And I worked after having her and we worked opposite shifts for a long time because childcare is ridiculous. And then when COVID happened, because we're both nurses, we weren't allowed the opportunity anymore to pick our schedules. So we had to put her in daycare full time and we both had to work. And when she was in daycare, she basically lived in the hospital. She got pneumonia. Everything you could think of, she got it. So it was awful. And we were still having to pay tuition for daycare to hold her seat.
Yeah.
So we were still paying like $1,500 a month for daycare while we were like close to losing our jobs because we had to keep calling off and she was in the hospital and everything. When I got pregnant with my son in all of that, I was like, we have to figure something out. Like, this is too much. We can't afford like a baby in daycare because it's upwards of $500 a week for a baby.
Yeah.
And so I worked like 45 to 50 hours a week throughout my whole pregnancy. I actually worked the day before my C-section with him.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, he did come early. He came a week before the scheduled C-section. So when he came after that, I was just like, I was so desperate. I was like, I don't know. We made good money, but I wasn't willing to like stay away from my kids. So I was like, I have to figure something out. And My partner actually is someone who usually does things like this. Like he, has taken lots of courses. He's taken around $20,000 in online courses to like try new things. And I've always told him like, stop doing that. Stop spending that money. Like you're ridiculous. And I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw Becca and I saw M and I was like, I really liked their stuff. I was like, with Becca, I really related to her where she talked about childcare costs and all of that. And I was like, I'm just going to check it out. I'm just going to look at it. We'll just see what it's about.
Yeah.
And so I ended up taking the training and I thought that it was incredible. I was like, I am not good at tech stuff, but just hearing your story and like where you came from, and I came from somewhere like that, I was like, I relate to this guy so much. Like he clawed his way up from the bottom.
Yeah.
Like
And I have kids and can relate to a lot of the things that you're talking about here as well. Although this business has made those issues not an issue for me anymore. But I still live in the real world.
Right.
And have friends and put, we've actually had our kids in Montessori school since they were young. And that's a private thing. That's something that we have to pay out of pocket for. So the costs are real and I totally get this. So what happened next?
So I ended up taking the training and it was funny because my business advisor told me that he used to live in his car and I used to live in my car. So I was like, hey.
Don't say his name. Taylor was your...
No, his name was
Door. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Right. Well, we've got lots of great stories. Everybody's got one, quite frankly. Yeah. Taylor was the one who sold his bed. I'm sorry. Anyways, go ahead. I'm telling you, some of the stories are just, even on our team, some of our advisors and obviously lots of people in this community, everybody's clawed their way up from the bottom in some way, shape or form, but continue. So you were talking with Door and...
Yeah, and he was saying, he used to live in his car, and I was like, hey, I used to live in my car. And we were kind of like talking about that. And so I took the training, and then I actually have PPD this time around with my son. So it kind of hit me in full force, and I kind of just gave up on it. Like I took the training, and I was like, meh. And then I was sitting here, and we were talking about how one of us would have to go back to work. Like we were done with paid leave. We were talking about, figuring out our schedules for opposite shifts. And I was like, you know what? No, we're not doing this. We're not going to do it. So I went back, I looked through the training and I was like, you know what? I'm going to start today. And I posted a video that day. Like I just felt something in me that I was like, we're not doing this. We're going to stop right now. And I posted a video that day and it hit almost 1 million views. And I got like over 5,000 followers. And then I ended up getting like 25 leads from that one video. Well, not leads, but I got like 25 people in the course. I got like way more leads than that. And I just told them, I was like, okay, this is it. Like, it's going to go now. Like, we're going to do it. And so we ended up, I was like, from here on, I'm just going to be consistent and we're going to see what happens because like, we're not working opposite shifts anymore. I can't do it. Like, I can't do it.
And sometimes when you put your back against the wall like that, it's amazing what you can create. When you really commit, when you really burn, what do they say? Burn the docks, burn the bridges. It's like when you really throw out your plan A, which you say is your plan B, like, hey, my business is my plan A and my job's just my plan B. But the truth is your job's your plan A. And when you throw out your plan A, it's amazing what we can create. And that doesn't mean that everybody should go out there and throw your job out the window, because some of you probably will be homeless. So don't do that. But what other sort of pressure can you put on yourself? I mean, and you had 2 kids, so you obviously made a strategic decision with your partner to say, hey, okay, I'm not going to put us on the streets. We're not going to put ourselves on the streets, but let's put some pressure on ourselves to, like, let's get uncomfortable, right? Is essentially what you said, right? I mean, and yeah, you had some early success, but regardless, it's uncomfortable because it's not like tens of thousands of dollars are all of a sudden rolling in. So what happened after the big, shot to the moon, massively viral video goes from basically your first video? When was that? And talk to us about kind of how things have stabilized and or how you have created some consistency versus just, or are you still, trying to recreate viral videos? What's your strategy?
So I did a ton of research on social media after that. Like I did a ton of social media like free courses and looked into all these like TikTok specialists and stuff. So I started figuring out like exactly how to strategize a TikTok. Because the one that went viral like randomly to me, but it was because I was actually following that stuff without even knowing it. So I really like studied my analytics, studied social media, and realized that like I needed a hook, I needed value, and I needed a CTA. And a lot of people in like my Facebook group, I have like a small Facebook group, but a lot of people in it, they will be like, hey, can you look at my TikTok and see what I'm doing wrong? And the first thing is like, you're not putting in a hook at all. Like you're just giving them everything right now. And if you just start with giving the value, people are going to drop off after a couple seconds.
Hmm.
And that's the thing about like people these days. Like they want that instant gratification. They want like something to catch their eye. And if you can't entertain them like right away, they're just gone.
Yeah.
It's like my toddler. Like
Yeah.
if I can't entertain her right away, she's going to run out of the room. And
No, I think adult attention spans are about as long as toddlers at this point.
right.
So give us an example of like so many people are like, what do I put in my first video? Like so okay. I like to call, now this may be a little traumatic for other people, so I want to be sensitive of that, but I say this is a gun to the head moment, right? So I don't want to trigger anybody, but that's what I say to myself. I say, hey, if I had somebody holding a gun to my head saying you got to make a decision right now, what would you do? And so if you were in that moment where you had to do something right now, talk about, or what did that first video look like? What can you walk us through kind of even as an example? Because whether it's getting comfortable in front of the camera for that first time, or whether it's even in knowing what a hook is, let's walk through a couple of these pieces, but let's try to give people, just to give them over deliver today, let's try to give them an example of what a first video could look like.
Sure. So, actually, my first video, I was terrified. And I was like, you know what? Nobody's probably going to see it. So I'm going to brush my teeth in the video and I'm going to put on some eye patches. I was in the bathroom. I was like, had the eye patches on and brushing my teeth. And I was pointing up at the screen. So I pointed up and I did the Netflix video that was I did the
You thought all y'all thought she was talking in the dang thing.
Yeah, no,
and she was brushing her teeth. How you like that?
And I actually got so much hate for brushing my teeth because my electric toothbrush was dead. Because I'm a mom, like I don't have time to charge that thing. So I was brushing my teeth vigorously with an electric toothbrush and I got so much hate. People were like, you're not supposed to brush it like that. You're supposed to let the toothbrush do the work.
Yes. That's what you want. You want people to notice all the dumb stuff, comment, because they're going to do that. And most people, I think, would think, brushing my teeth, that's a dumb, but it's amazing what entertains people.
Right.
We're here trying to be actors and comedians on these videos, and they just want to watch you brush your teeth and then criticize the way that you're doing it. That's entertainment to human beings, folks. Let's dumb this down a little bit.
It really is. And like my partner actually got into this shortly afterwards. Like he saw my success. And I told you, he's bought all these courses. So he was like, wait a second. This is a course. He was like, okay, let's try this. So he actually has just started in like the last couple weeks. And like he sits down for like an hour trying to come up with like a skit for a video. I told him, I said, stop. I was like, the simplest stuff is what people want to see. I said, I don't spend more than 5 minutes filming a TikTok. I don't. Because nobody cares. Like they care about me brushing my teeth and washing the dishes. Sometimes I'll be washing the dishes in there and that one gets like 10,000 views. I'm like, okay. Like I got this video that got like 10,000 views and I had just woke up and I'm like going like this in the video. There it goes.
There it goes. to the moon. Somebody,
Yeah,
your partner's over here mapping out a sketch he's been
I'm
working on for
not
4
kidding
weeks.
you.
It's
He has a
crazy.
notebook.
We all do, but we all overthink this thing. We all overthink this thing. You're bringing us
Yeah,
back down to reality this morning because what are think back before all this craziness, what have always been the most, they've had to shut sites down over, violent videos and videos of people doing weird things, and
right.
people like to watch just normal weird stuff
Yeah,
that here we are trying to be marketers, trying to be, stand-up comedians out here, and it's just, man, and is all they want to do is scroll TikTok and then stop and say, look at her, because we want to find
yeah,
somebody to, maybe make us feel better about our situation or make fun of. Look at her using that electric toothbrush. It's not even using it right.
right. And I've actually recorded so many videos since then doing the exact same thing, like using my electric toothbrush without it being on, and they all get this, like they all get traction. They don't get the same as that first one,
Yeah.
but I will never not get a comment of someone being like, "What are you doing with that toothbrush? What are you
And you know
doing?"
what? I was reading something over the weekend about kind of engaging, just how to really get somebody to really get all in, and you go from not really interested to talking to you to be really interested in talking to you, right? And that in the strategy was very simple. It was say something on purpose wrong,
Right.
and somebody will go from um, you know maybe not interested to jumping up to correct you,
Yeah.
right? And and there was more context to it than that in a couple of other scenarios, but it's so true because, I challenge each one of you to do record a video of yourself doing something the wrong way,
Hmm.
right? Doing something, uh, something that might be slightly dangerous, cutting the wrong way, or using a drill the wrong way, or
Right.
doing something like you just said, and watch all of the comments and the engagement and everybody there to correct you. Sometimes um, I think coming at people from different angles, like you're talking about, is really smart. Is really. So how have you taken that and expanded on it? What you talked about, the washing the dishes videos. You talked
Hmm.
about the eye cream, or the eye patches.
Yeah.
That was the first one. The kind of waking up. If you're in the camera and you're kind of rubbing your eye and you're waking up, what are you typing, or what text, or what kind of call to action? How are you creating a hook, value, and then a call to action only using text? Are you just doing that with the text itself?
So recently I saw that there was a TikTok update where they're like pushing long form videos. I do way too much research on TikTok. And so I started doing more long form talking videos, and I put the captions up at the top because I read a study that said that most people who watch TikTok watch it without sound on. So like this morning, I filmed a TikTok while I was getting ready for this, and because people love to watch me get ready for some reason and criticize it.
Is
Um
that what you're right? Yeah,
and I put
just
the
kind of be like voyeurs, right? Just kind of
yeah.
watch,
Well,
right?
there are a million haters in the world. Like you always got
Yeah,
to remember that.
yeah.
So I put the text up at the screen, and my hook was, I made money last night while I was sleeping. And then after that, I explained, like, I'm a mom, I have 2 kids. I, was scrolling TikTok. I used to work a lot. Like I told my story in that value part. And then I also told how I found this training, and the training just like changed my life. I was like, I didn't do anything with it. But then when I really buckled down and I really started focusing on it, I realized like this was insane. This is like a college level course, and I've taken a lot of those. And I was like, this had so much information in it, and it was so easy to follow because I don't have a lot of tech skills. Like I'm a nurse. I can save somebody's life. I can do CPR. I can do an IV. Like I can do things to keep people alive, but when it came to like a sales funnel and all of that, I was like, I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
about this. But I rewatched and rewatched and rewatched until I got it. And I was like, okay, now it makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of what you do in college. Like you study something over and over and over again. And like before I was ever allowed to do an IV, I had to practice it on a dummy like 10 times, pass a lab, pass
Mm-hmm.
this, pass that, and then I was allowed to do it on a real person. So it was the same thing. I just studied and studied and studied. And then I stumbled through it a little bit. And then I finally got it. So I put that value in the TikTok to go back to that. I put my hook, which was I made money in my sleep last night, put
Mm-hmm.
my value, my story about the training, etc. And then my call to action is if this sounds like something you're interested in, or if you are sick of paying these childcare costs, if you're sick of having to worry about grocery money, etc., you can follow me and you can grab my free ebook,
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Yeah.
So those are typically my CTAs. Or I say something like, you can follow me and comment a heart below. Cause I've seen some recent stuff about like getting more engagement from people
Yeah.
by telling them to drop a specific like emoji as a comment. So
Yeah.
I go back and forth between those.
Yeah. No, that's great. I mean, this is an evolution, I think, of just something that us marketers have done on social media for a while, which is, hey, comment information down below, comment
Right.
a specific word down below if you want me to send you information, or just comment down below, and I'm going to pick a random. There's lots of ways that we can get people to comment down below and kind of create engagement. We're talking about some not so obvious ways today, which
Mm-hmm.
is, doing things wrong, or doing things wrong on purpose, or,
Right.
brushing your teeth and not turning the thing on and everybody's noticing that. But there's also, a lot of just direct calls to action, as you say, that you can get people to be commenting. Hey, drop me a heart if you can relate. Drop me a heart if you'd like me to reach out and send you the free ebook. I'm going to send it out to the first 15 people who drop hearts, right?
Right.
Just in case there's more than 15. If there's less than 15, we're good. But if there's more
Right.
than 15, I'm not going to set, right? So that's some ways that you can get, that you can get people to engage in your content. Asking for a comment though, just, hey, like and subscribe, like that whole, like, hey, drop a comment, are you here? Give me a like and drop a comment. Those days are over though. People are
Right.
not liking and commenting just because you're kind of simply asking them to. There
Right.
has to be something that's in it for them.
Right.
So yes, and some other people can relate to being smart, but kind of technology making them feel dumb. But I want to go back to your analogy about nursing. Friends, of course, sales funnels and some of the tech here, that some of the low to no cost tools that we use may be kind of difficult to learn at first or get the hang of. And quite frankly, I'd like to remind you that after a decade, I'm not a funnel, the actual software expert. I know how to read the blueprints, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
what's important. Not every little click, and how do you, right? You got to know how to set up the basic funnel as an affiliate. And then as you expand, you can bring people in to help you with some of these things if they're really confusing. But it's really just not that big of a deal. And it's really just you, as you did with the IV, getting used to using something for the first time. It's going to be awkward. It's going to be overwhelming. And there will be a time, if you stick with it, many of us won't. That's okay. We just jump on to the next thing and jump on to the next thing and jump on to the next thing. And we can't be new at anything, right? Can't be new. But guess what? If you want to be great, you got to be new at things
Right.
all the time, right? Because that's how you grow to new levels. You're new again. Oh man, I've not done this before. I'm new at it, right? If I want to start going out and taking if I'm an Iron Man and I'm running, competing, and now all of a sudden I'm going to start doing cold plunges because that's what my coach and doctor team, that's a hard ass thing. You go do that cold plunge the first time, your butt's going to get in there for 10 seconds and jump out.
Mm-hmm.
You're new at it, right?
Right.
It's the same thing with anything. I got a boat for last year, a bigger boat, and I was new. I was an idiot. I crashed it into a dock. First time I took my wife out on a date, I was like, I am the man. And I had even hired a captain's coach. And I literally crashed it into like a bridge the first time that I took her out. Why? Because I'm new. Now it's better. It's fine. We're fine. It's a little chip that I didn't get fixed because
Right.
that reminds me. I'm just,
Right.
so folks, we are going to be new at something. It's going to suck. You're going to suck. And then there's going to be a time that you look back in the near future and you're going to be like, I remember when I sucked, but it'll be in the distant future. You've talked a little bit about being new. What other advice do you have to people about embracing the little bit of uncomfortability at the beginning to get through to the other side?
So I really looked at it as, and I think a lot of the people I see in the legendary community are women, and a lot of them are moms. And when we all started being moms, we had no idea what we were doing. Like, we were sent home with this baby, and we were like, okay, why did they send me home with this? Like, I don't have a manual. I don't know what to do. And everything is so uncomfortable and it's so hard. And you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't do this. And I already had a child. And when I brought home my son, I was like, who let me bring this second baby home? Because my daughter's in here. Because I was like, I don't know how to take care of two. Like, I just figured out how to take care of one. Yeah. And then I was given another one. And so with that discomfort, once you like sit in the discomfort, I feel for a while, because when you have a kid, you can't take them back. Yeah. I mean, some people can, but you really shouldn't. You have to sit in that discomfort and you have to be like, okay, what does this baby want? What does this child want? And you finally, like, both of you finally get in sync and you figure it out. And since becoming a mother, like, I love discomfort. And I don't know if that's just me, but since becoming a mom, I feel like I can do anything. Like every day I'm doing something new. Every day I'm doing something uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, how do I do this? How do I do this? Now I have to figure this out. Like, Google is my best friend because I have to Google all the time and be like, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? Yeah. My kids throw like crazy curveballs at me all the time. And I'm like, okay, now we have to do this. Right. So I think with Legendary, it was the same thing. I was like, this is uncomfortable. I'm going to like sit in the discomfort. I'm going to figure it out. Like, I'm going to keep doing it until I figure it out, because the way I like framed it in my head was like, I have no other choice. Like, if I want to give my kids a different life, I want to travel, I want to do these things, this is what I have to do. Yeah. Because like we both made decent money. We made enough money to pay our bills, and that was it. You know, we never had enough money to go on vacations, to do like anything like that. So that was a constant argument, because I was like, we're not like living our life. Like, we're working and we're, we have food on the table and we have a roof over our head, but like, we're not doing anything outside of that. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. Like, I want us to live. I want us to experience things. Like, something I always say is like, we're working towards that Disney trip. And he's like, oh God, because he doesn't want to go to Disney. But I always think to myself, like, I want to be able to say to myself, hey, you want to go to Disney today? And him be like, no. And then I drag him anyways. And we go to Disney, but that's never been a thing for us before we started something like this. And now that we like see the power of passive income, it's like this, I'm like dedicating myself to this. Like, I do it when my kids are napping. I do it when they're sleeping. I do it when they're eating lunch and I've already ate, but they're sitting there like playing with their food. Like, I'll film a TikTok. Like, I do not spend hours filming TikToks. I film it really quick, and then I think of something powerful, and that's what I go with, So
and this is wonderful. You're speaking so much truth and a lot of inspiration. It's really, really, and it's clear. So how did you get over, or how do you suggest others deal with that kind of imposter syndrome of at the beginning, I either don't have any, and I'm assuming people, let's just talk about people in the make money online niche. If you're in another niche, then you need to decide who the spokesperson is. If that's you, not, we talk about this a lot on the Decade in a Day and inside of the Blueprints coaching stuff. So if you can get into the Blueprints, we'll work with you on that. If you want to work in a separate niche, a lot of times people will start in a niche they're familiar with or have some context, and then move into other niches. I'm assuming that you're kind of working in the make money online niche.
Yes.
And so talk to us about, or how would you suggest people get over that that imposter syndrome of, okay, I'm brand new. I don't have, I don't feel like anybody is going to want to listen to me. I don't have any results yet. How do, and then I think that plagues people on an ongoing basis as well. Cause, it's like, the camera is really something that you kind of have to stay in a relationship with. Like if you get too far away from it, it's kind of like coming back to learn how to ride a bike again. You know what I mean?
Right.
So talk to us a little bit about dealing with how you've dealt with your imposter syndrome and what that's looked like for you.
So the way that I think about it is like on a nursing floor, like if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm never going to tell a patient or a patient's family member, like, I don't know how to do this. I'm going to be like, you know what? Let me figure it out. I'll get right back to you. Or I'm going to ask the doctor, or let me talk to my team. Like I never let a patient or a family member know that I don't know what's going on, because all that does is invoke panic and mistrust. So, and the same thing with anything, like you can use the people around you, the people you are in a team with, and be like, we got you. We have you. You're okay. You're safe. We will make sure you get the care you need. So with something like that, I used that mindset with Legendary. Like I have this community that can help me. I have this community of people that know every single answer to everything. Like I post in the Legendary group all the time, and there's this one guy, Tim. He's amazing. Like he answers every single question that I have, and like immediately he'll be like, "Oh, hey, Kayla," boop, and then that's the answer. And so I just like to think about it like that. Like I have these people.
Tim Hewitt. Shout out to Tim Hewitt, man. Shout out to Tim Hewitt. This guy is a legend. There's no doubt about that.
He's amazing. But so I think about it like that. Like I have these people backing me, just like I do at work. I have these doctors, I have these CNAs, I have these other nurses. And if I don't know how to do it, we're going to figure it out. But I'm never going to let the customer know that I don't know how to do it, because all that will invoke is mistrust.
I mean, I have never threw my hat harder than that moment right there. I actually think I just broke it. But wow. You just backed a dump truck into the Legendary parking lot and just dumped a whole truckload of gold bars. I actually feel like I need to give you something back. I just feel like you just gave us millions of dollars worth of value right there in that one. Never let the customer know you don't know what you're talking
about. Never. Because I think about it, like when I was a patient in the hospital, when I had my kids, if I knew my nurse didn't know what she was doing, she was leaving. Like, you better get me somebody who knows what they're doing. So I do the same thing with my patients. Like, if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not going to tell you, because you're just going to panic and you're already sick and scared and everything else. So
that is nurse power right there. Somebody said that's nurse power. That is. I mean, you nurses, medical workers, doctors, anybody on the front line who works, you guys just got your shit together. I think you're the really the foundation of our society. I mean, because we're all out here being idiots, panicking about everything. And then we come to the hospital after we've broke something, and you guys are like, we got you.
Yeah. I will say though that I have never felt as scared the scariest I've ever felt is during COVID. Like my whole career has been COVID. I just had become a nurse and then COVID hit, and every day it was like, what do we do now? That was when there was no vaccine. There was no studies. There was no nothing. So COVID came out. These people are dying. There's 30-year-olds that are like just dropping like flies. And we're like, what's happening? Like, what do we do? But if I had ever let somebody know, like, I have no idea how to take care of you, like, I might as well have already buried them,
Oh my gosh. And you know what? We never really put ourselves in those shoes of the, we always just, and I know exactly what you're talking about. I walk into a hospital, everybody knows what they look like, they know what they're doing. And I don't care. I don't care if they do or not. I just care that they look like they do, because they can go in their office and go that we don't know what this is. And this guy's, all this, go do that behind the door. but don't let me see you doing that, because
Right.
I'm over here trying to soothe myself because I'm going through some sort of a health emergency. So let's put that in these analogies. I said at the last mastermind, I said, you can never overstate. There's no comparison to the power of the perfect analogy when you're communicating. And you have used some brilliant ones this morning. Absolutely brilliant analogies. But now we put that into the context of the people who are scrolling TikTok. Now we may not think they're in an emergency. We may not think that but come to think of it, they may not be in a physical emergency, but
Right.
they are in a financial emergency, most of them, right?
Right. Or like a mental prison. Like, they may feel like I'm never going to get out of this. I'm never going to get out of this. And if they're scrolling, like say that they see me and I'm saying like, I heard about affiliate marketing and like, it's cool. And I just started, like, they're going to be like, okay, you don't know what you're doing. I'm going to find somebody who does. And they're just going to keep scrolling and find somebody who looks like they know what they're doing, who looks like they know exactly what they're talking.
Key word, looks, right?
Right.
Now,
Right.
if you need to go into your coaching calls and you need to go over here to Blueprints courses or go back through the challenge, you need to do whatever you're doing behind the scenes, you do that. But what you're saying is during that 30 seconds of video or whatever you're putting out online, look like you know what you're doing.
Yes. Look like you are the expert. You know all the answers. You know what you're doing. You know how to solve their problem. If you're just like, yeah, I'm in the same spot as you and we're seeing what happens, they're going to be like, okay, bye. Like, that's fine. And they're going to go find somebody that looks like they can lead them.
Factual evidence is being spit all over the place. And that's so true. You're right. Hey, we can be friends, but I can't learn anything from you if you're just kind of, okay, I'm struggling as well. And this is another thing. What do you feel that we have an addiction to struggling? I've been in this business and in this industry for over 10 years. And the amount of times I have seen somebody say I'm struggling, and kind of say that I almost believe it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more we say something, the more we believe it, the more, right? It's just like, hey, I'm a champion. I'm a champion. I mean, I might believe it one day, right? But what's your opinion also on the addiction to struggle, I guess, for lack of better terms?
I think me and my partner talk about this a lot. Like, he's the one that kind of grounds me because I'm the panicky one. But we talk about mindset a lot, and like, we both came from nothing. And, I think there's a lot of people who come from nothing, and then when they have money or they have something, they put themselves in the position again to be struggling. Like, they're still living as if they have nothing. So they're like, I just got $20,000, but that car looks good, so I'm going to buy it. And then all of a sudden they're struggling again. So I think people put themselves in that position to continue to struggle because they cannot switch their mindset. If that makes sense. And it's something that you talk about in the course with a lot of poor people live poor for the rest of their lives because they have that poor people mindset. And like, I have lived in my car. I have done these things. And like, I make a good income as a nurse, but just because I make a good income doesn't mean I'm going to spend all that money. It means that I'm going to make sure that we have a buffer and our kids have things and we have this and we have that. So like, I do think people force themselves into a struggle because they don't shift their mindset when they actually start to like come up.
Yeah.
So I do think that that's something that
I'm getting another water delivery. Jeez, Louise. I was getting one last time on Friday on Wake Up Legendary. All right. Sorry about that. Got to get, we got to stay hydrated over here. We got to stay hydrated. We get water deliveries over here like they're shipments of something from some faraway land. It's crazy. I mean, we're moving a lot of H2O over here, people.
Yeah.
So Wow, man, this is great. I really love this whole idea of just like, um, not letting people see you struggle, especially your clients. Like it's such a simple concept. And when we think about it in our regular jobs or careers, or any other profession, you would get out there on the sales floor, or you would get out there on the service deck, or you would get out there and your ego wouldn't let you be new. Nobody tells. I mean, come on, think about it, people. We all got egos. We all
Right?
got egos. Nobody likes to be the
Minus
one. Nobody likes to be the weakest link, the new
right,
person, right? So the majority of your life, we've all probably just kind of acted as if fake it till you make it, whatever you want, right? It's game time. Put your game face on, right?
right.
There, it's said in a lot of different ways. But then we come into being entrepreneurs and starting to, create content, start marketing ourselves. And it's like all of a sudden, yeah, all that goes out the window. And this is the most important time for you to put your best foot forward, right? I mean,
Hmm.
because this is actually your opportunity to build your own business.
Right.
So it's almost like we feel a little bit more, I guess, able to put our game face on for somebody else, or working for somebody else's company or in some other situation, but can't do it for ourselves.
Right. And
You
it's
know,
almost like it's because you're not physically in front of someone. Like, on a nursing floor, that person's right there. They
Right.
cannot see me sweat. But like when I'm talking to my phone, like, there's nobody physically in front of me, but it's the same concept. If you don't look like you know what you're doing, I don't want to learn from you because I also don't know what I'm doing. And so you're not going to help me. Like, it's
Yes, you're right. That is such a great point. That the somebody sitting there, you are going to, yeah, you're definitely, that's what we're trained to put on our game. As a matter of fact, when we're by ourselves is kind of when we can take our game face
right.
on and go and be scared or anxious or whatever, right? But what you just pointed out is we really need to realize that that phone represents not just, or that camera, which is for most of us in our phone, um, that represents people. And
Mhm.
that can be a difficult thing to kind of, wake up to, but
Right.
it's real, right? Because people are sitting over there, and the phone screen it creates a one-way I mean, it can create a two-way conversation on FaceTime and everything else, but it really is like somebody is sitting there talking to you. But if we don't treat it like that when we're filming it, it's not going to come off like that.
Right.
That's such a great point. Such a great point. I think this is a sort of like a key to unlock a lot of people who are listening to this and haven't really given themselves permission to go out and grab their slice of the pie. Realize that that we used to say and still do in 12-step recovery rooms is you've earned your seat, right?
Mhm.
You've earned your seat. You don't need to explain it to anybody. You don't need to go into your backstory. You don't need to give a biography of, or an autobiography of your, you don't have to explain yourself.
Right. But we live in a world where people think that they do. Like they think they owe everyone an explanation.
Yeah.
And I will say that until I started working in psych, like I realized, oh, no, we don't. we
Yeah.
don't. We don't owe you an explanation. Like you can post something online about affiliate marketing or about making money online. And if there are people who are going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about, you've never done this before, you don't owe them like a comment back. You don't
Right.
owe them anything, you know?
Right.
Um,
And they don't really know what you've done. I mean, you could, and I'm not saying you should go on and each person has to decide how they market themselves, but it's like they only know that you've had zero success because you're telling them that you've had zero success, both with your words but also your body language.
right.
and you're right. So it's almost like you could bounce off, especially some of you who have never had, there's no other, you've never posted anything really on social media before about marketing. Come on and just be the best damn affiliate marketing, person, educator that's ever existed on this earth. Just pop up tomorrow and just be it. Right. And just you're full of energy and confidence, and people are like, where the hell? Everybody's throwing their hats. They're like, who the hell is this person? They're on fire. Right.
Just brush your teeth and it'll go.
but we don't do that, because again, we call it imposter syndrome. You can call it whatever you want. I mean, it's really just kind of that, it's that self-doubt. It's that kind of, that thinking that I need to explain myself to everybody, thinking that I need to get everybody's little permission to post something online. And it's like, and anytime somebody leaves a negative comment, it's like, well, they must see. No, they don't see shit. They don't know shit except what you're telling them, what you're saying to them, what you're, communicating with your body language. And I think the nurse analogy that you gave us is a great analogy. There's ways that you can project confidence. There's ways that you can, you don't have to let people know that you don't know what you're doing. You can present professionally. And then, as you said, the power of, if somebody actually asks you, which rarely will you get in a situation to where, unless you're going live or something, and somebody asks you a question, which if you don't know the answer to the question and it comes in the comments, you don't have to answer it. Just ignore it.
Right.
Just ignore it. Or if you want to, you say, that's a fantastic question. I'm going to get the answer, and I'm going to post that answer in a follow-up video after this live. So stay tuned and watch for that video. You don't know that I don't know the answer to it. I just plan on, I'm acknowledging the person in the comments saying that is a fantastic question. And I'm going to post a follow-up video after I get done with this live. And I'm only going to answer some of these fantastic questions. So make sure that you watch for those follow-up videos. They don't have to know that I'm going to go and ask Tim.
Or you could even say something like, I want to give this the energy like that it deserves. I want to give you the time, that this deserves. So I'll answer this in another video or something.
Well, I know your kiddos are there, and I want to just respect your time and hopefully, be able to have you back, because this is you must have little angels, because if they are right there, they're quiet as
my partner has the baby. And then my daughter is chilling on her tablet, which she got to play while I was doing this. So
good for her. Live it up, girl.
Living her best life.
What's she into? What shows is she watching?
She's not watching a show. She's playing a little puzzle game.
Okay.
And she's eating a whole plate of cinnamon rolls. So, you got to do what you can do to survive.
Yeah, she is living her best life. I was asking about the shows because I know quite a few of them myself. So
Bluey is her favorite right now. Bluey is her favorite. She has Bluey everything.
And through Bluey.
She's addicted to Bluey. She really is.
My little boy, my 2-year-old, watches a show called Trash Truck on Netflix.
I've never heard of that.
That's his trash truck. He is so into trash trucks.
I've never heard of that. She's super into trucks, but I have not heard of the trash trucks.
It's on Netflix. It's a really sweet show. So
okay, we're gonna have to tell her about it.
All right. Well, gosh, this has been so wonderful. Thank you so much for your just incredible wisdom this morning, Kayla. And please come back and see us again and leave us with your final thought.
I guess my final thought would be
on this journey and what what people may could take out of this conversation today. If just a recap of what kind of your what do you think is something that you would have liked to have heard when you were starting that would be nice for you to leave some of the people who probably are in the beginning stages. They're either starting or maybe they're starting over. What would have been something that was nice for you to hear, or that you would have liked to have heard and you could share with them?
I think someone just telling me that I could do this. Sometimes that's what I need. That's what my partner says a lot when I'm like, I can't do this. I can't figure it out. He says like, you can do this. All you have to do is like stay consistent, you know, do what you need to do and get it done. And so I think that can like embody so many things. Like I felt like I couldn't do it in nursing school. I couldn't do it in motherhood. And so for someone just to tell you like, you can do this, you got this, I believe in you, I think is so important. Like I say that to my patients a lot, and I'll see people just cry and they're like, well, that means so much to me that you said like, I can do this. And I'm like, okay. But I think it's just awesome to know that there is someone who believes in you. Even if you have no success, you've done nothing, you're just starting, like, I believe in you. I think you can do this.
I love that. I love that. Thank you so much, Kayla. This has been a lot of fun and a great way to kick off the week. So we'll let you get back to your family, and we'll do it again. We'll send you an invite, and hopefully we can have you back. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. See you, Kayla. All right, my friends, go and follow her at that mama in pajamas. She's over on TikTok and Instagram. That mama in pajamas. Gotta love that. All right, my friends. Absolutely. I believe in you as well. And we will believe in you until you believe in yourself. That's what somebody told me when I first was trying to get clean, actually, back in 2008. They said, well, I'll believe in you until you believe in yourself. And they also said, believe that we believe. And I was like, all right, man. And I think that applies in the same situation as well. Believe that we believe that that there also is evidence right in front of you. It's not just kind of this like, you know, oh, it's success is out there somewhere. Just keep going. No, it's, you know, real people doing real things. And so, all right, my friends, we'll see you back here tomorrow, same place, same time for another episode. Finish that challenge if you've started it and you haven't. Get into those blueprints if you haven't, right? Show up to one of those coaching calls, ask, listen, get in the game. All right, you deserve it. Be legendary. Get out of here. Peace.